What's up, Lorcana community? This is Jake with Team Snuggly Duckling, and we're here with Tavern Talk. I think it's episode 23. And today we have some really amazing guests, some really great players that did extremely well in the CCS. Woody, as you know, he's one of our players here. Good player over here too. And I'm gonna let Dave take it away and kind of talk about his team, and then we'll move it over to Mark, and Mark can kind of explain where he's from and what team he's playing for too. So all up to you, Dave.
Thanks, Jake. Appreciate you guys having us. I'm Dave. I'm the host of the Inkcaster Saga podcast for Team Inkcasters. So super happy to be on here and really enjoying continuing to collaborate with Team Snuggly Duckling, especially coming off CCS where a lot of you guys were together. We wanted to have the opportunity to join you guys tonight for our podcast as well. So we figured we'd join forces, have Dylan and Mai talk about their experiences from the weekend. Dylan piloting a deck outside of his normal, taking it down into the top 16, and then Mai holding her own in the ladies tournament on Sunday. So we're excited to kind of get into the weekend and hear from you guys as well. So thanks for having us.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And we do have the first place winner with us here, Thiago, who just obviously made a lot of people's day not the best day, but he had a really great day, I'm assuming. So shout out, great job, man. That's very impressive. I know it's a very stressful thing to go through these events and actually push through and keep your concentration and try to keep cool and just, play it out. So really kudos to you, man. Really great. We'll get to Mark. Mark, kind of go over where you're from and who you play for.
Hey, so I'm from Pensacola and on the team Emerald Coast Cards, where we have from Mobile all the way up over to Destin area. The strong players from there got together and formed a team, and we travel around and have fun and try our best.
Yeah. And today we have quite a few top 16. Obviously, Thiago with first. We're going to kind of cover over their deck list, what they teched for, some of their tough matchups, some of their good matchups, and stuff like that. Thiago, if you want to kind of give a little introduction for yourself and how you got to where you are now, take it away, man.
Yeah, so first off, thanks for having me. I started playing the game earlier this year. I mostly just play online, but when I have been playing live tournaments, I've been doing well. Online, I've reached number one a bunch of times. I've reached number one and gotten a second account to be number two and hold them both at the same time, 3 or 4 different times. So I've been doing really well online, and I started playing in paper now. And so far in this season, I won the SSG 15K tournament in the first weekend and the CCS 25K the second weekend. I played Purple Steel both times. I think the deck is pretty good. I don't think it's the best deck in the game or anything, but it's the most consistent, and it's a deck that I've been playing for pretty much the entire time I've been playing the game, so it was pretty kind of a no-brainer that was going to be the deck that I brought into this meta.
Yeah. I totally agree. Purple Steel is probably one of the most consistent decks around. It just you always hit that curve if you know how to mull right, and obviously you definitely know how to mull right. Again, kudos to you. Really, really, really great job. I guess we'll just dive into a little bit of the weekend and how it went. And I like to say, and be a gentleman, we'll start with ladies first. Mai. Am I saying that right? Right?
Yeah.
Mai? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry. Mai. Okay. How was your weekend and your, did you play both events or did you do just the women's event?
I did play in the main event. I ended up at 2-3 in the 5th round, and then I just dropped after that. I could have kept on playing for points, but I was pretty tired towards the end of the day after traveling and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I played Blurple in the main event and ended up playing pretty much almost the exact same list as Tiago's list from the SSG 15K event. I just ended up switching out one Jasmine for I think a Lilo, and that was pretty much the only change I made to that deck. And then I lost in my first round against Blue Yellow Princess aggro on a draw. That deck surprised me for sure, so I definitely was a little bit, like taken aback from that. In both games where she needed to rip out the strength, she did play the Ludwig in order to rip out the strength and had the Tiana on board and then got to exert that, so it's pretty much like game over from there.
Yeah.
And then the next round I ended up having a bye, and during that bye I was able to consult with Thiago about my runs and what I should do, and yeah, he was like, oh, you just have to win out. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's pretty easy enough, like pretty easy enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I got the bye in the second round. In the third round, I played against a purple steel player, and I was on the play on that one. I did end up winning that. It wasn't the same exact list, but it was like a pretty similar list. In the next round, I was on a draw against another purple steel player, but she had purple steel mines. Didn't really know how to play against that, but I still maneuvered around it, so it was pretty good. And then the next round, it was against... Oh, I'm sorry, I messed it up. In the third round, I played against Chernodogs. Like a different, not the same exact version as Ghosty's Jack's list, but it was like a similar version to that, and I won against that on the draw as well. And then in the
Call it
sixth...
the Sea Dogs now, I believe.
Sea Dog.
It was like a different variation, not Sea Dogs, not Jack's exact list. It was like, I think her kind of own mix of it. So yeah, I got to beat that on the draw, and then in the sixth round, for my playing into the top 8, I played against Red Steel's... I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
He always makes a special appearance on our pod. That's just natural. It's natural, baby.
Jake knows a lot about that. It's alright.
A Red Steel Scar. That deck also took me very aback. I was like, I did not expect this at all.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to play against this. But we went into time, and through tiebreakers, I made it into 8th place,
Nice.
fortunately enough. But yeah, it was pretty exciting,
Yeah.
like just having a ladies championship around. Playing in it was definitely like super fun. I love meeting Lacana ladies and being able to play against different decks that they play as well. It was really fun.
Yeah. I'm
That's-
glad. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear, Mai. So we were super pumped when we saw that there was going to be that tournament, that side tournament, and that you participated in it, and obviously doing well. And you laugh at Tiago's comments like, "Oh, you just got to win out." But do you remember you're the one that rolled up to set champs, taking the round 1 loss, and still ended up winning the entire thing. So yeah, that is in your bag, girl, of being able to do that. So. But what made you? I want to ask. You played Blurple on Saturday, right? So what made you want to change over on Sunday? Kind of what did you see on Saturday that kind of led you to that decision to make that deck change?
Well, when I went back to the hotel, I was like, the consistency of Blurple against aggro is just not favorable, and I did see more ladies play aggro, like tending to play aggro, so I wanted to kind of have like a more consistent deck that I could play against that, and kind of still might be like able to beat Blurple if I run into it.
Yeah.
So I thought Purple Steel was the better move for it, especially since I played Purple Steel before, and in my experience, like playing against Chernodog, it was so much easier to play with Purple Steel than it did with Blurple. So that kind of led me to that thought, and yeah, then we just had the deck ready as well, so I was like, might as well just give it a try, see where
Give
we
it a
end
whirl.
up.
Nice.
I think that's a very, very good call when you said that most of the ladies will be playing aggro, which is probably a good call, because half this meta is aggro, honestly, and it's just aggro's so strong these days. So it's just a good call. Like you said, consistency over everything. Blurple can miss a ramp and lose a game. And it's just you just need that 1, 2, 3, and if you have the strength, you can pretty much win the games in some of these games like that. But great job. I want to say that I know it. How many players were in the ladies event? Do you know?
It ended up being like 51 ladies, and it's 66
Awesome.
rounds.
Yeah, that's a solid event.
Yeah, but I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't have done it without any of Thiago's advice or any of my other team members telling me to keep going. And the last reason why I kept going so strong was because I got to play on this beautiful map right here.
Ooh.
Yes, yes.
That's
This
who
beautiful
won
map
first,
right
right?
here. I played modified for it, and just looking at it, it just kept me calm and just kept going. So
Yeah.
those were the 3 reasons.
Yeah. Shout out Craig
Very
from
nice.
Modify. He's a great dude. He kills it with these mats. These mats are beautiful that he makes.
Oh my god, yeah.
Let's let Woody talk about his experience a little bit.
Oh man, token scrub of the weekend,
Yeah. How did it go, Woody? I know you started kind of slow, and then you started the steamroll at the end and started picking up
I
pace.
feel like I got punished for playing Blurple a set early, to where like in the first 3 rounds I mulliganed 7 3 times and missed ramp all those games. But I 2-0'd the mirror round 1. Round 2 was a nice purple steel guy who was playing libraries, and they just cooked me because I missed ramp early. Actually, round 3 I played one of the ladies in top 8 with I believe her name was Hillary. She had the nuts game 3, and kudos to her. She was a great player. That was the mirror also. Then round 4 I saw a red purple, which was the only one I saw all day, even like around me. Rush Goofy was probably the only like real card in the deck. It felt like that was like a pretty big struggle for him. Then round 5 was Amber Steel. A nice guy. His name was Flavio. Actually, that was a highlight. And yeah, he was a great guy, but he actually didn't stand a chance either. Sadly, I think he actually missed his. He missed a turn 1 play game 2. Weirdly, it was kind of rough for him. Round 6, probably one of the highlights of my card game career. I got to play Dale Bolito, who was like a Yu-Gi-Oh legend, and I was able to squeak that out in a mirror match. So that was cool. I actually found out after that he got down paired into me, so I felt like I was the anchor to his
downfall.
Toronto, you know what I'm saying? So that was pretty rough. And then round 7, I got my 3rd loss to a guy named Samir, who I came to find out was like a friend of Zan's. At first, I thought he was sandbagging me. He told me that he had picked up Lorcana about 10 days ago, and he was a Magic player, and so he was just borrowing a friend's deck. And he literally tells me, he's like, "Hey, if I make any mistakes, let me know." He shuffles his deck, and he's like, "Hey, man, I made a mistake. I drew 8 cards," and he calls a judge on himself. And
The Hector special.
yeah, exactly. And I was like, "Man, look, it's no big deal, not at all." And I'm thinking, man, we're both 4-2, so like you got to know what you're doing a little bit. And then he goes like, Ink Jim Deere play Fred, and come to find out it's like Zan's like hyper aggro list from Worlds with just bobbies and stuff in it now,
Yeah.
So yeah, that was an unwinnable matchup, and then I became hype man the rest of the weekend. So, yeah.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, hung out a little bit Sunday, didn't get to play in the tournament and stuff, and then we rolled out back to New Orleans probably like 2 o'clock. So yeah, it was short but sweet, but it was awesome. Got to see all the people.
Yeah.
Fun.
And I'm gonna save Thiago. I'm gonna save you for last because best for last always. So Mark, let's hear your experience in the tournament and kind of explain what you played. We're gonna go over some deck list and just talk about your experience at the CCS.
Went really well. Was pretty confident in the deck that my teammate Steven brewed up. Felt good leading into it. Decided to lock in. Round 1, I hit a purple steel on the play, and I was like, okay, that's okay. I'm on the play. made a critical error game 3. I got scared he was going to go to like 12 lore, and I kind of got scared, so I pulled the board-wide combo out and had to ink a Gentleman Donald, one that draws me cards, as my last card in my hand. And very bad play, because I shouldn't care as long as they don't get to 20, and I don't care how many cards they have. I don't on the board or the hand. So I should have just pushed out that Donald and instead of running out cards. So I took an early loss, had to do the walk of shame, climb of shame there, because I had to go up to table 190 upstairs. And then I had to battle all the way back up, 1-2 in a row. Then I had to draw, which was another mistake on my part. Game 1 against a Blurple, in round 4, I thought it took too long and I might not get 3 games in. So I was like, maybe I can win with just one game one. And I started bouncing all his characters back, slowing down what he could do, but it wasn't enough. And so I had to try to win in less than 20 minutes. And in turns, I had lethal, I had the whole board. His last turn, he finds a big Elsa, only card in his hand, stalls me for exactly one turn, and I take a draw. But then after that, I hit 5 more Blurples, and I 2-0 4 of them, and and then I'm on 2-1. J Shaft was my final round, and Saturday I was on the draw and managed to pick that one up 2-1 as well. It was funny. Game 3, I quested out large with my card on my deck, which does just a couple turns of like 7-10 lore at a time, and just closes the game. And Jay Shaft was like, and I was laughing at all the people keeping Monstro in their lists, and I was like, yeah, and a lot of people had trouble. A lot of the Blurples I play didn't know priority inking. They were inking Monstro early. They were pushing out Dumbos and other characters that could just bounce back to the hand. So surprise definitely helped in my favor. And during my feature match, one of the casters said they interviewed Zan, and I felt it resonated with what I did the weekend. He's like, Zan said, this might be the first time you played against my deck today, but I played against your deck all day. And that's what it felt like for me as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you made top 16, and I mean, that's a really, really good run. I know starting at the bottom is not always favorable for you, and getting a tie, not always the best, but, really, really great job. All right. Dylan, let's hear your experience and how you made top 16 also.
Yeah, so this deck for me was like an interesting choice. It's a deck I played a little bit last set, but obviously it's completely different now since there's no more muses and stuff like that. And I didn't know how viable it was going to be, but I did have a feeling there's going to be a ton of Blurple. And so I wanted something that could kind of consistently beat Blurple. And I just didn't want to play aggro. It's just right now aggro is a bit too linear for me. And I like Blurple, I think, is probably my number 1 deck right now, but I also didn't want to play the mirror match all day. And I saw a lot of that at the tournament, so I'm happy I didn't bring that. So I decided to play something that I thought I would have a lot of fun with, and I didn't expect to really do that well. And my list actually looked quite a bit different when I showed up Friday night, and I ended up getting together with Woody and Jordan and stuff, and we're doing a bit of testing and made some critical changes. Like I think I still had the 3-drop Louis in there, and I think I was a bit too concerned about like aggro, where like you have this combo that's like how you deal with aggro anyway. So made some big important changes. Also shout out to Quigley. He's a big kind of pioneer of the color combo. I ran the list, and I think I was the only blue-green in the top 16 that had the Pleakleys in there. Which is kind of like a turbo ramp style. And it was a lot of fun. I had a blast. I actually didn't get a loss until my top 16 match. I had 1 draw. I think I played 3 Blurples, 2 mirrors, an amber steel aggro, and a purple steel. So like a good variety of matchups. My draw was to Blurple. We just went to time. and ended up playing some good players. Jeremy, who got 4th, Thiago beat him in top 4. He was my loss in top 16, but I beat him in Swiss, so that was, I was on the play in top 16. I was playing Jeremy. I was like, okay, like I got this in the bag, and then just top 16 didn't pan out for me. I also ended up playing Zan for the first time. He's been to a lot of the SSG events, so I've seen him around, and we've always been like next to each other. Just never really played him, and played him on the mirror. He obviously has like a different list with the shift Baymax and stuff like that, so I think my deck was favored there. But it was cool to just chat with him about the deck. Overall, it was just a really, really awesome experience. I mean, I didn't expect to do so well. I never really do, but you just kind of take it round by round and try and prepare yourself as best you can, and hope that variance doesn't beat the heck out of you through the tournament, because you can only do so much to where if you get super unlucky, like that could just be the end of your tournament, and that's just how card games go. But this event in particular was just it was a ton of fun. Seeing everybody, seeing Thiago win again was awesome. Seeing Mai do good in the women's tournament. Zeke, another teammate of ours, was doing really good up until like the last round. So it was just a blast. So I'm pumped. I mean, I would have liked to obviously do better. I really try and do the best that I can. Like I want to win every tournament. Like top's great, but my goal is to win. So like I'm not mad about my result, but also like there's room for improvement. There's definitely things I could have done better. I'm not like an expert on the deck at all, and I had only been testing it for a couple days prior, so I'm not upset with the results. So yeah, overall it was an awesome time, and I'm pumped to go back. I mean, these are a circuit now, so CCS is going to be doing these every couple months. And Atlanta's not too far from where I am in Florida, so I'm super excited.
That's awesome, man. Great. You had some really good advice throughout that conversation, and just really, you seem like a very clear-headed player here that could really influence some people throughout the nation, honestly. So, really, great job, Dylan. Great job.
Thanks. I don't want to give any bad advice. That's the main thing. Oh man, you always give good advice for the team, and Jake, you hit it right on the head. Dylan is probably one of the most level-headed players we have on our team, so his advice is always crucial to us. So obviously kudos going into that, and you're super self-aware, man. So like you're even calling out now like your deck, like, hey, there were some areas for improvement. What are kind of some of those holes that you saw already, and do you think you'll kind of stick with that as the set continues and we still have some bigger events coming up for us?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to go too deep into it because we have a lot to cover, but like there was some cards I would have changed for the tournament specifically, but now that the tournament's over, I have time to just kind of test a bunch of different things. There's actually a lot of variants of the blue-green color combination I think are viable right now. There's like more discard-heavy variants. There's the shift Baymax lines, like Jeremy's list where you run a bunch of 5/5s. You have the Pleakley like turbo ramp. Even Mark's list it looks quite a bit different too. So there's a lot of kind of areas in that deck, but the one thing that like wouldn't change about that deck would be like the Clarabelle shift. It's like kind of the core of the deck, and it makes the deck a little bit more inconsistent than I'd like, which is something I'm starting to realize. It does kind of heavily rely on the Clarabelle, so if there's a way to kind of figure that out, which I'm not sure there is yet, but if you can and make the deck a bit more consistent, then I think it would be a real contender for like a top tier deck. I mean, it already is, but like really good. I just don't know if that's possible with the cards we have in the pool right now. But yeah, it's just tinkering. I mean, we're in week 2 or 3 of the rotation, so there's just so much left to be figured out, I think. I mean, obviously we know what decks are strong, but I think people are going to come up with some cool stuff, and we'll see after Denver what kind of takes form.
Yeah. Perfect. Thanks, man.
All right. Thiago. I don't even have to ask you if you had a good time. I know you had a great time. Let's hear your experience, man. Take it away.
Yeah, so, I mean, the week leading up to it was kind of hard because I got back from SSG on Tuesday, and I was really not planning on going to CCS, but then I got convinced by Kendall, no, I'm not, who lives in Atlanta, to go. He's like, come on, you can stay at my place, you should play. Like, if you don't play, you're just like giving away free money to everybody that like you win. And then I was like, okay, fine. So then after I got back on Tuesday, had to catch up on stuff Wednesday, I like played some games on Thursday, and then I bought a ticket at 11 p.m. that left 6 a.m. on Friday. And so then I'm like packing and doing everything last minute, and then I go there. The entire time I'm planning on playing Blurple, because even though I won the last weekend with Purple Steel, I think Purple Steel is like a very underpowered deck. I think the deck feels really bad to play in this meta, where people like these blue-green decks are doing extremely explosive things, and the Blurple decks have these draws that are like so unbelievable. So the only games I played the week were on Thursday, and I played all Blurple games. And then I arrived there on Friday, and Zach Bivens texted me to like to test this like 3-mana Dumbo in my Purple Steel deck, and then I was like, I don't know, maybe. And so then I arrive at Kendall's place, and I was also staying with the Maelstrom guys, RMB and Humble, who Humble also made top 4, and I think between the three of us we were like 20-1 after day 1 or something completely crazy. And so they're like, let's play some games, and I only had Purple Steel sleeved up, and I wanted to test this Dumbo card. So then we started playing, and I just smashed them like for an hour and a half straight. I was like 7-0 or something. I like 5-0'd them on the draw as Purple Steel against Blurple, which is like supposed to be an unfavored matchup. I'm like, okay, I just have to play Purple Steel tomorrow. So then with like, I changed a couple cards from the last weekend, like 3 cards or something, but I didn't like actually get any time to practice it. So I was like, we'll just keep it similar. And then yeah, day 1 I play against like 1 Purple Steel, 2 Amber Steel, 2 Blurple. Of like the big 3, that was like made up 5 of my rounds. And then I played against 1 blue-green who made top 16, Kolpos. And those games are really difficult. I don't think that matchup's super good for Purple Steel. He went like turn 2 Tipo into turn 3 Sail plus Pleakley his Tipo in 2 of the 3 games, which is like so crazy. And then they just start spamming 7 drops. It's like, but one of those games I like kept 7 on the play, so I was able to win. And then the third game he like bricked. So I was able to squeak by that matchup. And then at 6-0, playing for top 8, because if you go 7-0, you can intentionally draw the last 2 rounds and make it in. And it's super nice because you play the 2 last rounds on the second day, so you get to spend that entire night like resting, and you don't have to like wake up and like play the most important game like first thing in the morning. So I played against green steel aggro with Chromacons, and my opponent had just been like dumpstering Blurples all day. But I think the Purple Steel matchup's pretty tricky for him, so I was able to take that down and intentionally draw the 2 rounds the last day on Sunday morning. And then in top 16, I played against a mirror that was super, super difficult. I think the Purple Steel mirror is like really frustrating to play. I think I'm not looking forward to this weekend. A lot more people playing Purple Steel, because the mirror, like Purple Steel, it feels like so many of your matchups you have so much skill expression because the deck is so consistent, but the power level's not so high. So like it really takes you like pushing it to these wins, but not in the mirror. The mirror feels really miserable. So I squeaked by a mirror in top 16, and in top 8 I got another Amber Steel, and he 7-kept both games and lost both of them, like even like on the play and stuff. So then in top 4 I played on camera against Jeremy, and I think that matchup's really, really bad for Purple Steel. Like Dylan was saying, there's a lot of different ways to build blue-green, and the list that Jeremy and Zan had is like so good against aggressive decks, and so that was super, super tricky. And in the finals I played a mirror, and the games were not that close. Like the second game I think I like 20-0'd him on the draw or something, but yeah, I think squeaking by the green blues and some of the mirrors were pretty tricky.
Yeah, and like you said, I think that the green, Purple Steel is probably one of the highest skill level decks out right now, because the min-maxing your choices after turn, I would say after turn like 4 is really, really important, and just predicting your opponent's plays and what could really happen is really, really key with the Purple Steel. But I mean, you seem to be the master at it, so really good, great job, man.
Thank you. Yeah, the deck is weird. It plays like 45 one-questers, so you're supposed to be like a kind of aggressive deck, but like you have 44, 45, 46 one-questers in your deck, so you're not actually that good at killing people, and so a lot of times when people play the deck, they just like end with like 0 cards in hand at like 17 or 18 lore, and so like you have to really squeeze every little inch, otherwise the deck just falls short.
Yeah. So we're going to get into a couple of pictures of our time there. Again, thank you all for being here and kind of explaining y'all's experience. Let's get into some pictures, and then we'll get into some of the deck list, and we'll let each player kind of explain why they chose, maybe some of the different choices they chose with these decks. So we'll start off with, like I say, ladies first. Let's look at the top 8 of the ladies event.
I think they did me dirty with that picture. I mean, that hat is so crooked. Nobody told me about that. I think everybody else looks super great, and there's my head just really crooked on my head. But it's okay. It's whatever.
No, y'all look great. Y'all look great. And like I said, congratulations on even top 8 out of 50 something players. That's a real accomplishment. And I'm just glad that CCS can put on events that are, a little bit more exclusive to, different styles of player, rather it be women, younger kids, or teenagers, or any type of not just broad events for everyone to join. But CCS always does a great job with these tournaments, I feel like. And the one that I did attend, it was just great all the way through. So shout out to CCS, and great job for running that tournament. Did you play any of these top 8 players, and who did you lose to in the top 8 to not make semifinals?
Yeah, so in my 6th round to make it in, I played the top right lady. I don't remember her name, but she was super sweet. We just, unfortunately, like I said, we went into time because I didn't know how to play this matchup, and it was really hard for me to think about every single move I was doing. We drew, and we both got into top 8. My top 8 match was against Brittany. She is in the middle next to the Team Ohana lady on the right. She is from, I think her shirt says Lord Villainy.
Yeah, rules of villainy. Yeah, it's rules of villainy.
Rules of Villainy, yes. So I think she's from that team. She was also on a purple steel, but like a Isma purple steel kind of deck. I did win the first match on the draw, and then she won again on the play. And in my 3rd game against her, I really needed to see ink to do a huge play, but what I drew into was 2 docks the next 2 turns.
I was gonna say dock for sure.
Yeah, it definitely killed my game, and she took it back towards the end. So there was nothing I could have done at that point. But it was, like I said, it was really, really fun playing against such talented ladies.
Yeah.
And I'm just honored I made it that far with the run I had. I thought it was crazy.
See, y'all's team's so humble. We got Jordan in our team, and he is just
man.
I'm slapping everybody. I'm gonna win it all.
Yeah, no. Mai was, in my opinion, clearly the best player in that tournament. So I was unfortunate to see her draw all those docks and not really have a chance. But I think she was clearly the best player in my opinion.
Oh, thank you.
Nice. So let's move on to the rough bunch right here. This is what I'm gonna call y'all. Oh wait, let me click on to there we go. All right. Look at these guys. All right.
We got. That was just a coincidence. That's crazy.
You got enough Saint stuff, man.
Yeah, and the shirt today too, man. That's wild. All right, yeah. Just dial it back.
So obviously we have Dylan here. We have Gerard from our team, Ghosty, Jordan Serial from our team. We have Mark, who's joined us right here with Emerald Coast. I don't remember
Justin.
Justin, yeah. We met him at Nationals, and then we have Woody, obviously, with us. Yeah, they all. I mean, I'm glad that everyone just had a blast, because it's always great getting together and just seeing everyone and having a good time, because it's not always all about winning, unless you're Thiago. So, but it's just a great experience always. So you just gotta have fun and just enjoy your time while you're there. So all of y'all were just looked like y'all had a blast, but a lot of y'all got sick. Gosh, what going on?
This could have been 30 people deep too. They just got lost in the parade around the building.
That's funny. But yeah, they said that y'all were looking for Craig for like 30 minutes for this picture,
We
right?
found Craig right away. He just wasn't budging. Yeah, I mean, he was Mr. Popular all weekend too. So everyone he had his whole little station set up too with his little tool kit.
Yeah.
Every time I see him, he's got a whole like more professional operation. So
Nice.
yeah, he was busy.
Yeah. Well, let's start moving on to these deck lists, and start talking about what the tech was. What did y'all go for? What was your thought behind some of these different cards of your decks and stuff like that? So let's start off with ladies first. Did you play anything different than any other purple steels that you saw out there that was key to the deck? And if anybody else wants to chime in on some of the key cards that she played, go ahead.
Okay, so I will admit I did try to find Thiago before the ladies championship started, so I can see what he was gonna play, what his deck was like for this weekend, if he made any changes from last week. But I couldn't find him, so then I was like, okay, let's just run with this. I didn't have a second Jasmine, so what I did instead is I substituted it for one Lilo, because, like I said, if there was going to be like more aggro, like there was in the main event, just being a lot of aggro, then having a Lilo on turn 3 would have helped me out immensely, just like clearing like their board if they had like a lot of characters just out, or in just combination with like Madam Mim too, just like having just a booster there. That was really good, and it helped me out in one of the turns too against Chernodog, so I'm really glad I put her in for that round. Besides that, I didn't use her that much, but I didn't really need like her or Jasmine really too much during the tournament, so...
Yeah. Thiago, do you see anything that stands out to you that might, you like, or maybe would be changing for the next couple of tournaments or something like that?
Yeah, I actually think that this list works better for the field that she expected to see and ended up seeing than the list that I played in the main event, because this list has like the Madam M skaters and stuff that I was playing in the first week that I had moved off for this week because I was really expecting a lot of blurples, but I think she played against 0 blurples or 1 blurple, or so having the skaters for the Chernodog matchups and the purple steel matchups is like pretty nice. The Jasmine is just like, she's supposed to be there for like when you play against Blurple on the draw, just because Belle is not that good on the draw. Like Belle, the whole reason why you put Belle in your deck is to like win the evasive wars, but then if you're going second, it's just not even that effective at that. So that's why I put the Jasmines in, but considering that she didn't play against any Blurples, then it like makes a ton of sense to get rid of for a card that's good against the aggro decks like Lilo. So yeah.
Anybody else have any comments on the purple steel deck we have here? All right, well, we will move on. And like I said, great job again. I don't know how many times I'm going to say it, but great job. Really killing it. Y'all's team has been killing it lately. So
Thank you.
all right, Dylan, take it away. Look at this. The beautiful colors. I love these colors. I just can't get behind these cards. I don't know what it is.
This pile here, yeah. I'm definitely like a tech guy. Like I like throwing one ofs and 2 ofs in my deck. There's definitely some cards that I would add to, some I would take away. Like immediately after the tournament, my thought was more 3-drop Clarabelles. It's definitely a really good card. Having like a 1-drop Clarabelle and a 3-drop Clarabelle against Blurple on the draw is huge, because that means they can't just Elsa down both of them and you can still shift. And again, this deck relies heavily on being able to shift that Clarabelle early. The Pleakleys were great. Like if you can go sail in Pleakley on 3, you can potentially get to 7 ink on turn 4, and this deck runs a bunch of like huge bomb 7-drops, and that's kind of the idea with the Pleakley there. I know some people, and I wasn't actually going to run Bend to my will as a one of. I was just going to leave it out altogether, but it actually came in clutch against Blurple a couple times. Definitely won me a couple games, just being able to like shift, Clarabelle, sing You're Welcome on a big threat, and then bend their whole hand is pretty much like you won the game at that point. But aside from that, I'd say you'll see most of these cards in other green blue lists for the most part. I'm a big fan of the Scrooge 4-drop just against like aggro and stuff, and just being able to pressure. Like it's kind of like a jack of all trades, and you're not super high on uninkables in this deck. I mean, your uninkables cost a lot, so it can be a little bricky sometimes. But I was also thinking about like just cutting Mother Knows Best for that as well. And then the 4-drop Donald, I know Mark ran 4 of in his deck, and that was another card I would probably put in more of. I think you can go a different route where you just don't run the Pleakleys and you kind of go more into your 4-drops, and the 5-drop Donald, which gets you to 7, it's just a turn later. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways to build this deck. Also, a lot of people were on Improvise rather than the Heffalumps, but I like the Heffalumps against aggro better. And I definitely caught some Blurple players off guard. I think R&B, I played him in the 6th round, I want to say. And game 1, he played like a turn 4 Iago, and I was just like, all right, T-Po's saying Heffalumps. And he was like, yeah, good to know that's in your deck. So yeah, I mean, I only really played one aggro deck, and I think this list particularly might struggle against aggro a little bit more than like your Shift Baymax lines and stuff like that can sing turn 3 Under the Sea. So I got kind of fortunate in that regard. But all in all, yeah, it was solid. It worked out really well for me. So
yeah, and like I said, another top 16 for Inkcasters. I mean, y'all been killing it, like I said, and you have a couple of tech cards. Heads Held High. I feel like that's, it's not an odd card, but it's definitely a card that you don't see in every green blue list. The one Donald Duck is that's something. But like you said, you might go a different route and go a little bit more. Allowing your opponent to draw is not the best, but against this, especially if you're playing Bend, it's not too bad. And like you said, once you kind of control the board with this deck, you don't really care about your opponent's hand size, because it's complete control once you have it, with no board wipes in this game. But yeah.
I think I saw a handful of games where Ben went crazy for you, though.
Yeah, Ben, like having the one Ben came in huge, and especially because you can dig for it. Like your games against Blurple, they're gonna go long, right? Like, and they're playing like second stars, so if you bend them after a second star, it's again like just taking out someone's whole hand in a control matchup is, again, usually it's game defining. So the 4-drop Donald, again, I think is actually a much better card than I gave it credit for. You don't really care if they're drawing because usually you have Clarabelle out, and also like you draw the extra card when you have priority, which is huge in this game. So yeah, that card I would definitely go up on too. But again, I think we're going to see a lot of different ways to build this deck, and I know Mark's going to go over his list, and which has some other options. But it's just cool. It's one of those decks that's kind of evolving right now, where I feel like Blurple and Purple Seal and Amber Seal are kind of set for the most part. Like they're not going to change too much. I think we'll see a lot of different variants of this color combo. So
yeah, I believe so too. So great job, top 16 again. Let's move on to the next list, unless anyone has anything to say about the deck.
I would just add that like the most unusual card in here is the Mother's Knows Best. It's like a card that people have kind of moved away from because it's uninkable, but Dylan played like 3 mirror matches or something, and it's like so super good in the mirror when you guys are both like trying to spam your 7 drops and whatever. And I know after talking to some of the opponents he played in the mirror, they were not happy they had to go against Mother Knows Best.
Yeah, I mean, Mother's Knows Best on your opponent's Clarabelle to then bend the whole hand, that's really rough to deal with.
Yeah, that's nasty to deal with for sure.
Any shift target. I also had it in there for like Tiana's and stuff, and so I can like efficiently trade. The only deck it didn't feel great against was like Blurple, unless you had a bend ready to go or something like that. Because usually, like, you don't really want to bounce any Blurple characters, right? Like, you don't want to bounce Hades, Big Elsa, even Little Elsa. So, it's definitely, the card can be good, but also you're fighting for the uninkables. So it really just kind of depends. I think this is a deck where you can build it specifically to target certain matchups. And if you don't, like, your other matchups are going to be kind of bad. So for this, I was really thinking I was just going to play Blurple all day, and that was the deck I played the most, and so it panned out. But I think something like Jeremy or Zan's list is more geared towards aggro. Like Jeremy said, like I just want to be aggro. He's like, I'm not worried about really anything else. He's like, I think there's going to be a ton of aggro, and that's how we built it. So yeah, again, I think there's a lot of room to do different things, and this I tried to build it as like a kind of jack of all trades for this list, but definitely more geared towards Blurple. So
yeah, I think that's a great call because I wasn't half the meta Blurple basically.
There was a lot there. Yeah, I don't remember the exact percentage, but there was quite a few. I think half the top was a 7. It was like 7 out of the top 16 were Blurples. So
yeah, it was like one of those things where like it was probably like about a third of the meta, but then when you'd go to the top tables, like they would have 10 tables. The first 10 tables would be 20 players, right? It'd be like me on purple steel, like 3 people on blue green, and then like 16 people on Blurple. So like it was disproportionately even more popular amongst the like top players than just the general tournament.
You should have heard Dylan too. He was like, I don't want to play Blue or Mirror. That's kind of boring. So then he was like, I'm ready for the O2 drop and figure it out from there. And we're like, okay, Dylan, whatever.
Yeah, I like if I wanted to play a competitive deck in this tournament, I was thinking I was gonna play like Purple Steel or something. I was like, nah, I'll just play a deck that's like for fun and just whatever.
And again, Dylan, you and Mai both saying things that you say, oh, I'm just playing a deck for fun, and next thing you know, you come in and you're wiping and cleaning house with something off the wall.
Yeah, I'm sure Dylan has literally never once in his life O2 dropped the tournament. Like, I don't think he's ever started O2.
I definitely have. Definitely been a few times.
And that was because Jordan had him in the second round on Move Under the Sea. It was at the 5K tournament.
That's tough, dude.
Oh no, that wasn't O2. I O2'd on Amber Steel once. It was bad. It was like all 4 games I just had like triple wheel. I was like, yeah, okay. Just game just doesn't want me to win. But no, I mean, I didn't think this deck was bad, and it's obviously proving to be better than what I think people expected. But I didn't expect it to do as good as it did. Just not for me, but like for a lot of people at the tournament. You know what I mean? The conversion rate of this deck at CCS was actually pretty good. So that's awesome. It's again, it's awesome to see something outside of those like 3 decks, the trifecta that everyone thought the meta would be. So yeah.
Right. Well, let's move on to the next list. Let's see who it is. Explain it. Explain how you killed everyone in your path.
Yeah, so this is a lot of people were very going in a bunch of different directions with how to build Purple Steel. I know some of my friends who placed in the like Zach Bivens placed top 8 of the SSG the week before. They were playing like going really heavy into the evasive on your turn cards, like Happy and the Jafar or Mr. Smee, the 2 mana 3/2s that are evasive on your turn, to really maximize the Dumbo. In my opinion, I think that the Dumbo is so strong on itself and so threatening that regardless of if you have those cards or not, it's gonna eat the answer from your opponent anyways, or if they don't have it, you're still gonna win the game. So I find those unnecessary, and I think you just want to like lean into like having better statted bodies for their cost. Like the playing Raj instead of a 2 mana 3/2 that's evasive on your turn is like such a night and day difference between having 2 and 3 health with the cards in this meta. And so my list kind of moves into this illusion direction to take advantage of the Treasure Guardian. I think a lot of the ways that this deck can attack the meta is by making a really wide board, and you're able to do that by having so many of these cards that draw you cards when they come in. So cards like Doc, cards like Dumbo, cards like Genie, and Treasure Guardian, they all give you a body while drawing you into more bodies, and considering that there's no board wipes in the game, you can make these gigantic board states where they can never attack into you because you have Captain Hooks and Calhouns, which are going to make their attacks super unfavorable. And then you get to these boards where you can have like 11 characters and just attack at once, gain like 13 lore or something, and then set up to win the next turn because their board is not going to be as developed. They'll have like 4 or 5 characters to take out and leave you with a bunch. So the changes that I had made for my SSG list were I cut the Madam M Skaters. That card, that like I had played probably like 600 individual games leading up to the SSG of the new format online, And so I was like really set on my list, but I got tricked the night before by Wojciech and Bivens to play this Madam M skater card, and it was just terrible the entire day. So I had borrowed them, so I just returned them, and those cards never made it back into the sleeves. So those were 2 changes. I just put the 4th Raja and 4th Treasure Guardian back in, which were cards that I had cut for it. And then the only other real change I made was cutting the 2 Jasmines for a Bell and a Hypnotic Strength, and then cutting 1 Jafar for Hypnotic Strength because they kind of play a similar role. But other than that, I just sleeved up the same deck, and yeah, I would say the only card that I didn't love was the Bell. I think I inked her literally every time until I cast her once in the finals, but yeah, it's super solid list. I think like this is my opponent in the final was playing like one of these heavily evasive lists, and also my opponent in the top 16, but I think moving forward, like people are this is gonna be the standard.
Very nice. I haven't played many games, but yeah, online I typically do ink the Bell, like you're saying, even with Blurple, because if you don't even see the Elsa, typically you don't have the damage on your characters, and it's just not as useful as some of these other cards that you could be playing. And I really think that any card that hits the field and has an effect is really key in this meta. So I think progressive cards like Cobra, White Rose, and Genie, and even Treasure Guardian, which this is probably the second time I've seen this list, and I really glanced over a couple of the top 8 and top 16 lists. But Treasure Guardian really surprised me because you are running a lot of Vanish cards. What does it do? It basically, when a Vanish character dies, you get to draw a card, correct?
When it comes in, if you have an illusion in play, you draw a card. So it's like Dolores Madrigal, but then it activates more frequently because a lot of times they don't want to exert things into you because you have Captain Hooks and Calhouns, so it just goes off very often. It's one of the things, like, we just want to play the Vanish characters anyways because they're overstated, and, like, if our opponents are using a Fire the Cannons on our Raja, like, that's not, we're not upset about that because whatever other 2-drop we played would probably have died to Fire the Cannons anyways, so it's, like, pretty much Improvise is the only card that, like, you're actually scared to see, and there's not a lot of those in the meta right now.
So what does your mulligan typically look like here? What is your curve that you're trying to hit here?
Yeah, so it's a lot different than Purple Steel in the past, because the card quality is so low, so your cards like Genie are just so ridiculous right now. So, like, you'll literally see me, like, 1-keep Genie and send back 6 cards on the draw. It's, like, very, very different from Purple Steel of the past. So you want to play Diablo or Palace Guard going first on turn 1, and Captain Hook generally when you're going second. Unless you're playing against a slow deck, then the Palace Guards and Diablos can still be good on turn 1, and they can get you a lot of lore. Calhoun is way better than Raj on turn 2. Calhoun is so strong right now. Everyone's playing these, like, challenger 1-drops, like the Octopus, the Rafikis, the Captain Hooks, especially since the card draw are in the colors where those cards are, so you need to be playing a steel deck or a purple deck, so you're probably playing Rafiki or Captain Hook. And these characters, after they challenge your 1-drop, they sit there with very little attack, so Calhoun just eats them up and is really, really threatening. He usually, like, protects your 1-drop, so your 1-drop just starts questing in the face of your opponent's guy and can get you, like, 4, 5, 6 lore. It's, like, completely crazy. Your 3-drops, it doesn't really matter. I think this dragon, like, the Steel Genie is, like, the best card in the game. Like, I think Strength is, like, the best card in the game, and, like, this Dragon Genie is, like, the second best card. Just this vanilla 3-mana 3/4. It's so brutal right now. It's, like, hard to get Strength. It contests all their genies. It holds spell damage. It just lines up so weirdly well that, yeah, it's unbelievable. And then on turn 4, you really need to either play Genie or play Strength. Like, the games where you play Genie or Strength on turn 4, you're just, like, so far ahead because of how, like, low-powered the game is right now. So if you do one of those, you're, like, usually pretty set. And after that, you're just trying to, like, chain some more card draw. So, like, either Dumbos or Treasure Guardians or Docks or Elsa to clean up the board. But the game usually gets pretty muddied after turn 4 or 5. So that's usually where you have to maneuver a lot.
Yeah, like, really min-max your cards and hand
right.
and stuff like that. But again, you proved that this deck is probably, I'm not going to even say probably, it is an S tier deck at the moment. I totally agree that this is, you'll see a ton of this in the DLC, You'll probably see a ton of this in Denver. You have changed the wave of Blurple players' minds, probably. So really, really great job. Really, really great job.
I'm curious, just have a quick question. So I've definitely run the matchup against Blurple with this deck quite a bit, and like you're definitely going to be way more experienced at it than me. How do you deal with like Blurple without like if you just don't see Doc, right? Like because they're ramping, they're getting to their genies and Elsas faster than you. Like especially if you're on the draw, if they have multiple 5-drop Elsas, like they're just clearing everything. Like how do you gain tempo back if you're not seeing Doc? Like I know, like obviously you have other card draw, but like your Dumbo's probably not going to stick. You know what I mean? Like Treasure Guardian and stuff like that. I just feel like there's games where you get stuck in this situation where like you just didn't see Doc and you just kind of run out of gas. I'm curious how you navigate around those matchups against Blurple, because I think that's probably one of the harder matchups for this deck anyway.
Yeah, I agree that Blurple's kind of tricky. I think that your deck actually plays like more card draw than theirs, so if you can kind of delay them off their second start, either by like questing at some points where they have to like trade into your guy, and then you get to clean their guy up to take away their Singer 10. But you're just trying to make a board that they can't deal with, because they only play one removal spell a turn, right? They can't play like a Hades and an Elsa. They don't do that until like turn 14 or something, because they don't even ink every turn. So you just have to keep playing multiple characters in a turn, and if you just don't quest with anyone, then they can only take out one of your characters that's readied, right? So you just have to make these board states where they're unable to interact with you. And usually it just happens kind of naturally because you're playing around cards like their Madam Elephant or their Bell. The most important thing in that matchup is just to never give them Bell. If you never give them Bell, then they're usually too far behind on just the development of the board to catch back up. So like between turn like 3 and 6 or whatever, you literally just sit on your hands, like never quest with everyone, never turn anything sideways to give them Bell, and just keep developing out your board. The dock is... It depends on the texture of the game, but the dock is not, in my opinion, one of the super key cards. I think a lot of times it's more so about like disrupting their development with like playing Singers to cast second start to the right. So your cards like Elsa and Belle are more important, and you do eventually see them because your deck just goes through the most amount of cards, and so if you have to Dembo for 3 for a turn, or then you play Treasure Guardian, Genie over the course of 3 turns, like you do end up seeing all the cards you want usually in the matchup. And their deck just gets blown out so hard by Strength. Like their deck is so slow on the development that if you just like play Strength and gain 7 lore over 2 turns because they're slow to catch up from it, like they can sometimes just get way too far behind to ever play the game. But I do agree that I would say it's generally like an unfavored matchup. If you guys both went first an equal amount of times over 100 games, you probably don't win 50 of them.
Perfect. Awesome. And then just one more quick question. I know we talked a little bit at CCS. You said you might actually cut that 3-drop Jafar. I'm a big fan of like having 2 of those. I miss Crab, but that's a decent replacement. So what are your thoughts on that?
I was going to cut it for Pete because I thought more people were going to be playing blue-green, and Pete's super strong against them. And the Jafar is kind of like only really good against Amber Steel, weirdly, in this meta. So I was considering cutting him, but I think so far what I'm putting in my backpack for Denver that I'm leaving for in like 6 hours is this list minus a Treasure Guardian plus a second Jafar. So he is making his way in there.
Nice. Okay.
Very nice. Yeah. Well, again, you killed it at this event, and you killed
Yeah,
it
congratulations,
at the
man.
last event, and you're probably gonna kill it in Denver too. So let's move on and let's see the next list. Who we have here? All right, Woody. This was your Blurple list, and it looks very similar to a lot of the lists. Your numbers are a little bit different. You have one card that I have no idea really what it's for, but you can explain it.
Yeah, Magical Maneuvers was supposed to be the hot tech on the weekend. It was mainly just for the mirror match to give us more Hades and Elsas than them. It came up a good bit in testing as just like a kind of a blowout card, but I think it came up once total on the weekend as just like a 2-for-1. It's basically a built-in 2-for-1 late game is the goal. Otherwise, the other list is extremely standard. I do kind of think that the move is the develop your brains over the visions, just because, like I said, I missed ramp 3 of 7 or 8 games to start the weekend, so that would have been nice to at least have on a turn 1 play. Yeah, otherwise, I mean, it was solid. The elephants were hit or miss just because I didn't really have the matchups for them. And yeah, Basil is like an insane card right now, so I favored the 4th one of that. So I know some people are going 3 and 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, I probably could have used another Into the Unknown. I know some of the Canadians were doing things with like the Feather and Scrooge McDucks, and I know like that's what Dale's list was doing. And then like Ed and his team were doing Monstros over Elsa's with the Helping Hand as a not Helping Hand. Someone else was doing Helping Hand. They were doing the 4-second stars. Yeah. As a way as a like kind of like blow out the late game with like a Regeki on the board with Monstro. But yeah, those are other ways to explore. I think the 3 TikTok were good for me. Dumbo was insane. But yeah, I think some of the numbers could have been shifted around a little bit. Yeah.
Did particularly any cards didn't really perform as well as you thought? You said Visions. Were there any other?
Visions was good, like turn 8 and 9 on. You know, like it was. I mean, it was the worst play was Visions on 2, which I did a good bit those early rounds. So that was kind of rough. Iagos were actually insane. So many times in the mirror match, if you just like put it down, like they're not going to Hypnotic Strength on 5 because they have no 3-drop play to follow up with. So they kind of just sat there and put pressure on them to make a different play than they wanted to make. But yeah, I mean the list was good. Not too many changes I would make, but yeah, I'd like to try some other things out. Yeah. But yeah, pretty standard.
Yeah. Anybody have any questions? This is probably, I think this is our only Blurple list that we'll be talking about tonight. I think that it might be one of the colors that I'm probably considering the color combination, but I mean, everyone's playing it. Everyone's playing it. I think it's probably the fairest deck there is, but fair doesn't always win you games.
It's strong, and I will say I like the mirror match much more in Blurple personally than I do the Purple Steel mirror match, which I pretty much tried all weekend too, leading up to this. But so yeah, I wasn't upset with my choice at least. Yeah. Until I played the most aggro deck imaginable, round 7. So yeah, it was cool.
No, I like the list. I do. I just want to say that I agree with the cutting the visions for the develop. I think that's what Humble's list was on in the top 4, and I think and my thought process of it is like your deck already has so many good cards. Like you don't really need to dig too much in this deck, but like the develop, like you said, gets you out of like the no ramp. Could potentially get you out of the no ramp on 2 situation, which is much more game defining, I'd say, than digging for like another Hades or something like that. You already like pretty much all of your cards are some sort of like removal or draw. So yeah,
I think guys at Ink were doing like the Helping Hand thing too, which is kind of like a pseudo develop your brain as like a bailout on turn 1 to dig for ramp, and also can like turn your belt.
Yeah.
Another big swing with a different character.
There's that other card too that's like gives something support and draws a card. I think it's like a 1-cost card.
That's the Helping Hand.
Oh, is that Helping Hand? Okay, yeah. That's what you're talking about.
Counting Practice or something like that?
It's probably Helping Hand. That's what I'm seeing a lot of now.
Hops on it. It's an uninkable
1-drop. Yeah.
Somebody was playing 2 of like a Pouncing Practice card that has like Zazu on it.
That's
I can't remember exactly what it does, but
-2 strength and give a different character evasive.
Yeah, it gives evasive. That's right. Yeah, someone top recently with 2 of those. That's something to explore, I guess, too.
Yeah, I think I played the same exact deck in the main event day.
I believe so. Yeah, I think we had like 6 people playing the same list.
Yeah, I think we played the same exact deck. I will say second star to the right is definitely the right decision to put in there. You definitely need that like for the mirror, but I hate that card.
That card was so good for me.
I hate
so
that
good
card.
against me. So yeah, it's definitely. I think the 4, like the maxing out of it is a good call too with monsters. If you just make those swaps with uninkables,
yeah,
you give yourself so much more like I guess agency in the late game.
Yeah.
I do think I would have needed the monsters a little bit more because my first game was against Yellow Steel, aggro on the draw. I don't know what it is about me with aggro on the draw, but definitely would have helped me out more there.
Yeah.
But it was pretty solid list, I will say. Zeke went really far with this list too.
Oh yeah, Zeke dabbed me up every round. It felt like. Yeah, he was pumped about second stars. Yeah, Magical Maneuvers was like, I mean, it was cute, like probably too cute, honestly, but it had some play to it, but mainly it was just there to be like an extra Hades when you were going tick for tat with the mirror match.
Yeah. Well, that's another blurble list, and you'll see plenty more in this meta with all these key cards. A lot of these cards are locked in on this deck, so there's a few techs that we'll probably see in the future, and some people probably will continue to play just this same deck right here. But let's move on and see what we have next. Oh wait, did I do that wrong? There we go. Mark, take it away. This is your Dr. Pepper. Well, first off, why is it Dr. Pepper? Am I missing something?
Yeah, so the guy who cooked up the lists is Steven Pepper. And so the original like Baja Blast green blue from season 1, like he wanted to be like, oh, deck doctor, and so we had a little team vote for the name, and so Dr. Pepper was the
all right,
the
I
winner.
dig it. Well, let's have you go into some of the you're playing a couple of cards that people probably didn't play in this normal color scheme of decks here. Stopped Chaos in its tracks. That's definitely one of them. But I'll let you cover your deck and take it away, man.
Yeah, so about almost 3 weeks ago now, we were deck testing, and Steven brought out his green blue, which he loves, and I smoked him on purple still like 3 games in a row, and he's like, okay, this isn't working. Scrooge isn't working, Mother Gotha isn't working. He just had a bunch of different cards, and so he goes, like that night or the couple nights later, he posts a list. He goes, "This is it," and it was almost this list. It didn't have develop your brain. So first thing I was like, develop your brain has to be in this list. He's like, okay, but he just did 4x. He said, I need to just cut everything I don't want, and I need to just have everything I do want. And Stop Chaos, he's always been really big on his favorite card in the whole game is Muses. He loves Muses, and so he was like, he really likes just bouncing stuff, slowing that tempo down, and giving Clarabelles that increased value. And so like we talked about Bend, and we tested here and there different stuff in the Stop Chaos throughout the weekend. What I used it mostly for, because I hit mostly Blurple, I hit 6 Blurples, is to bounce my own Hades. So it's like there was a talk about like, oh, you bend the hand away, but bend doesn't do anything in the aggro matchups typically. So it's like you have the heavy uninkable in your hand. So Stop Chaos is like a pseudo Under the Sea a lot of times for those matchups instead. And then in the grindy matchups, it becomes 2 more Hades, or you bounce back 2 of their 4-cost characters like Dumbo or some people were playing Riders. I hit a couple people playing Riders, and you bounce them both back, and now they have to play 8 ink from the hand to do nothing to my board state. So it just kept stalling them out, letting me get that incremental lead with more and more characters. In my feature match, I played a Basil on a guy's Bell, saying Stop Chaos, bounce back 2 more characters, saying a You're Welcome, and left him with 2 T-bows, and I drew, I think, 9 cards that turn with my Clarabelle, and yeah, that was game.
Yeah.
And then in game 2, he missed ramp. I had everything. I double ramp, shift Clarabelle, Stop Chaos, both his 3 and his 4 play, and he scooped.
Yeah. So the only question I have is, like we talked about this a little bit earlier, no 1-drops other than develop. How scary is that into a meta where there is quite a bit of aggro?
So on the play, aggro's not that bad. If we can curve out, we can get to our Under the Sea or Stop Chaos fairly easily. We're running 4x, so we're going to see the cards. The develops help us there. Typically against aggro, if it's like a still aggro, they won't let you keep a Clarabelle on the board. So that's where like the 4-cost Donald is very helpful. He has that 5 health, hard to get rid of, so he can help Sing. And then you can just triple ramp, or you try to triple or double ramp, so you can hard cast one of the 8 cost songs as soon as possible, and then keeping multiple John Silvers. So we're on 4 John Silvers, so you just you double ramp into Silver, and then he can lock out a character every single turn, and not only lock them out, force them to kill themselves.
Yeah. Reckless is a big key for those aggro plays. Yeah, you're right.
So, yeah, in my top 16, I hit my first like pure aggro, because I hit a couple purple still and Swiss, but I hit on the draw amber still, so not unwinnable, but definitely like this deck's worst matchup. And game 1, he blew me out. The only time I missed ramp all weekend out of like 30 games played was that on my top 16 game 1 I missed ramp. And then game 2 I kind of blow him out. Game 3 he commits to the board, but I don't have the shift Clarabelle in my hand. I have everything else for it. I have a Clarabelle on board, I have Tipo down to help Sing it, but I don't have the shift. And so he gets to 19 and I stall him out and I clear his board, and he's top decking and I'm top decking, and if I can get 1 out of any of my 30, I have like 40 cards left. 30 of my cards left in my deck could win me the game, because I could quest to 18 the next turn. So as long as I get like 1 more removal, I could win. I don't see it though. So close game 3 on the draw.
Yeah, like we said earlier, card games kind of happen like that sometimes, and it's just the luck of the draw at some point. I do want to say that 4s all the way across is super consistent looking. Dylan's shaking his head right now, and he's like, I had 1s and 2s and 3s, but the 4s all the way across looks real clean, real consistent, and just a really good game plan for this deck. And like I said, it treated you well in the tournament. You probably lost your top 16 match from what you're saying. It's because you missed ramp in that one game. So, still, great job. Great run.
Steven, who made the deck, he was keeping track of melee. At the end of Swiss, so at the end of round 9, I had the highest win rate of games played in the tournament.
Wow.
Impressive.
Very impressive.
Only 8 uninkables in this deck list too, which is something to take note of. Makes only 8, so it makes it a lot more consistent too, especially with Tipo in your deck, because you can always, ink one of them if you need to. So that's good.
Yeah, and then you're not so worried about inking one of your cards, because you'll see it again, like the combo piece, so like head, sell, high.
Right.
Like a lot of people running 2 or 3x. If you ink one, you're like, will I really see it again? You gotta question that. With my deck, I'm like, yeah, I'll see it again.
Yeah, and you definitely have ways to dig too. I have an odd question for you. Are you ever like concerned that your 5-drop Donald inks like one of your combo pieces that you need?
Nah.
It was something that came up like randomly throughout the tournament when I played it. I'm like, I kind of need Under the Sea at some point here. Hopefully this isn't gonna ink it.
He's got all 4 ofs.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
that helps. And then Steven, the deck maker, he's always like, he thinks about it, then he tells himself, just think about it being the last card in your deck. Of course, yeah. My brother Kiki actually ran the same 60 I did, and he ended 6-3. He lost in his final round of the day against a purple still. He hit 2 purple stills on the draw on Sunday to kind of push him out of Top Cut also.
And I've played against your brother quite a few times, not in CCS, but at a couple of different locals and championships and stuff like that. Your brother's a really great player. So, like I said, sometimes you just don't see the cards you need, or sometimes your opponent just has the nuts, man, and you just can't really do much about it. But I want to congratulate all of y'all, because all of y'all did extremely well, and y'all kicked ass in these tournaments. I mean, Thiago, you murdered it. So great job to all y'all. I believe we went through everyone's list. That was everyone's list, right? I believe.
It looks like it.
I think so.
Usually what we do here is we'll do a quick final thoughts. Maybe something about Denver, maybe the DLC, something like that. And I'll start off with you, Mark. Any final thoughts on what what's to come next?
I'm excited. I was questioning how much I would commit myself to this DLC season, since I did all the DLCs last season, LCQ, missed Nationals by like 4 lore for my LCQ pod. So I was like questioning it, but CCS kind of sparked me on to I'm excited for Milwaukee, so ready to go.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Dave, do you have any final thoughts? Let's hear them.
Final thoughts. Just excited for one, expanding our community within Inkcasters, right? So we're obviously a newer team, but I'm excited to continue to see our team being represented in a lot of these tournaments, and players like Dylan and Mai continuing to make an impact and placing, as Dylan says, he's here to win, but still the accolades are continuing to pour in for us. So I'm excited for that, and I'm excited to jump into some of the events myself as we head towards Richmond, because that's where I'm targeting as well for our DLC.
Okay, I hear you. Thiago, you got any final thoughts here?
No, just thanks for having me on. It's fun chatting. It's good to see all of the faces that I've gotten to know over the last few months and some new ones. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Woody, you got any final thoughts here?
Man, no, I'm just excited to see the crew again. Get everybody from across the country to get together in one spot, So can't wait for Milwaukee. Sadly, I think only one of us is making the trip out to Denver from down here, but so we root Jordan on from afar. But I think some of us might go to Waco. Jake, we talking Waco?
Ooh, we might be going to Waco, man. We might be going to Waco.
So yeah, that'd be exciting too. It's at the end of the month. But no, other than that, just can't wait to see everybody again, and give it a shot.
Awesome. Mai, you got any final thoughts?
I mean, just kind of what going off of what Tiago and Woody said, like, I just think it's just so much fun that we go so much closer during these times when we go to tournaments together, and we go to like having these dinners together, like Inkcasters, SSG, the Snuggly Duckling. Like, we all went to dinner together. We had an amazing time. We grew closer. Like, it's just that kind of part that makes it so much more fun, so much more to look for when you go to like these DLCs and the CCQs. Like, it just adds so much more to it.
Yeah, it's not like the Yu-Gi-Oh cruise where you kind of just sat across someone who hated your guts every play.
8th grade school dance, dude. Yeah, no one talks to each other. I do want to say, Thiago, I don't think we even mentioned it. Congrats on joining SSG too as a team.
Yeah,
man.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's really good.
Congratulations.
I did ask him if he wanted to join this Thinkcasters first, in my head.
She did not ask me. She's like, why didn't you join she's like, I can't believe you joined SSG. You didn't even join the Inkcasters. Where was my invite? She's like, I asked you in my head. Oh, my bad.
Oh, my gosh. Never hit
send.
send.
A van, though. That's key. Like, if you got a van, you got
to Hey, listen, I'm a dad. We have a van. We have that blacked out, murdered out Honda Odyssey Elite, baby. We can fit 8 people in that thing.
We did see what the house at SSG you were staying at too, so you got something to look forward to every trip.
Yep. Does the Honda Odyssey have those TVs or no?
Yes, it does.
Oh.
We have a Blu-ray players with headphones.
No way.
We spare no expense in the Torres household. Thank you very much.
We have candy, Tiago.
That's awesome.
We do have candy.
We have candy, and I smoke meats for our team practices at my house.
Wow. That's incredible. You guys have it good.
Yeah.
All right, Dylan, you got any final thoughts really quick?
Yeah, I kind of want to just piggyback off what Mai said. Like, these events have gotten so much more fun for me as I've like kind of connected with people and made friends. Like, all of the Snuggly Duckling guys, like Woody is always like my savior, hooking me up with cards that I just don't have, and he just always has. Dude, I'm always just like, hey, Woody, you got this? Yeah.
This man literally asked us like an hour before we had to leave for our flights for Kitas. I literally had to skirmish through our blue box for Kitas.
Teammates too, for sure.
Yeah,
but like,
my life,
like
what? That's half these people.
Yeah, but like just seeing all these people that you don't see all the time.
3 times in 2 days before he went to Denver. I was like, "Do you want the whole bag?" And he said, "No, I'll be good." Came back genuinely like on his way out to like see his mom first. But yeah, great.
Yeah, seeing everybody at these tournaments for me is making it, like Mai said, so much more fun. And like when I see like Thiago doing well and like making finals and stuff, like I'm genuinely like happy for him and like rooting him on and stuff like that. And it's awesome. You see a lot of the same people and you start making more friends, and it's just a big community, and that's great. I think that's something that Lorcana definitely has going for it with these tournaments. And then aside from that, I mean, I've definitely been seeing a little bit of negativity around like the current meta state and stuff like that, and I'm curious. Like I don't really buy it either. People are saying it.
Learn to trade.
Yeah, like I think the meta is fine, and I think we're gonna see it kind of evolve and get better. And I think Milwaukee for us is the next stop. I would have liked to go to Denver, but can't make all the tournaments, But the Inkcasters will be at Milwaukee and trying to take that down, and I can root for Thiago and Jordan and Denver and all that, and I hope you guys do well.
Yeah, I hope you all do well too.
Mr. Three-time Thiago?
No, probably not. I'm really not feeling well about this weekend. But yeah, just adding to what you said about the meta right now, I think there's so much more that people haven't explored. Like I'm getting like rumblings of like things that people are testing, and like I think there's still so much more to go. Like I don't think we need bans or anything crazy like that. I think there's a lot of room that people haven't explored. People are only playing like the obvious decks right now that are like similar to what we had before, but there's a lot of new stuff coming up, I think.
Look at what happened in this last set with Jack cooking up Chernadogs out of nowhere, right? That was something that when all the card reveals were coming out, we're like, oh, okay. And then next thing you know, Jack starts crushing with this deck. So, like, there's always going to be something out there. It's just going to take time to figure it out.
Oh, and the Comic-Con might have been the card of the weekend, too, it felt like.
Yeah.
That item is crazy. But it's great to hear from an experienced player like yourself that you expect the meta to keep evolving and stay fresh. It's not going to stale out. It's not set 3 red purple. It's not like that type of meta where if you're not playing S tier you're losing type of deal. But I really appreciate, first off, I'll just say I appreciate all y'all for being on here, and thank you for y'all's time, and like just overall y'all are great people. The Lorcana community itself has always been great. I've played quite a few card games, traveled throughout the U.S., and Lorcana for sure has been the best just experience in a game. You don't have to be winning to feel good, and that's key for keeping players happy and just keeping the community feel. So I really appreciate y'all being here, like I said, and good luck to all of you at the DLC or Denver or Waco, wherever y'all end up next. So we had a great episode, had a great time with all of you. So see y'all in the DLC in Milwaukee. I will definitely be there. The whole squad will be there. So other than that, great episode, guys. Thanks, and guys. I appreciate it. And y'all have a good one. Y'all take it easy.
See everyone soon.
Thanks. Bye.